On today's episode of All Chiefed Up, Juju Smith-Schuster contract. Are they saving up for Odell Beckham Jr.? We're going to recap free agency and discuss potential targets Brett Veach could have his eye on, so stick around.
What's happening, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to All Chiefed Up. Juju Smith-Schuster has moved on from the Kansas City Chiefs. He's inked a 3-year, $33 million deal with the New England Patriots. Brett Veach obviously didn't want to pay him that much. So what do you think, Mike? You think we're saving money for OBJ?
It looks like it. It looks like 3 years, $33 million. That's a little lower than everybody projected. So Juju must have not been getting that much attention on the market. Looks like the Patriots went ahead and got him. They lost Jacoby Myers just a few days ago. But the Chiefs, they said they were going to aggressively try to match, Steve. This doesn't look like an aggressive match. We thought he was worth more than $11 million per year. What did Brett Veach offer this guy? Like a bag of Skittles and, a movie pass to go see a matinee or something? What did he do?
Obviously, I think they have their eyes on something else here. Jeff Simon from ESPN reports that sources say free agent Odell Beckham Jr. has narrowed down his potential decisions to just two teams, and that's the Vikings and the Kansas City Chiefs. And I don't see him wanting to go play with Kirk Cousins. So I'm thinking that maybe Brett Veach knows he's got another guy coming in, and that's why they didn't want to make a deal on Juju.
I don't know if OBJ is an upgrade to Juju Smith-Schuster. Let's just be honest. He's got a lot of injuries.
So with his injury history and the fact that he's getting up there in age, I'd say if they do have a deal done with him, that's going to be something small, probably a 1 year or something like that, like they did with
1 year contract, possibly. Maybe that's the holdup. They're looking at OBJ as well to see what he wants to do. Maybe it's between those two. But if it's one thing Veach has proved this offseason, it's that he is valuing youth. So both of these kind of do not make sense to me. At the same time, you never know with Brett Veach. He's a wild card.
Well, yeah, even if you're going with youth, though, I think you still have to have that one veteran presence in the wide receiver room. I don't think MVS really makes that mark. So I think bringing in Odell Beckham Jr. or Adam Thielen would not be a bad thing. I'm leaning more towards OBJ. I think that deal's pretty much done. I think we'll be seeing news about it soon.
Yeah, guys, so let us know in the comments. Should we sign OBJ? Should we sign Adam Thielen? Should we not sign either and look to the draft? Let us know in the comments below.
So a lot has gone on in free agency already, and we're just going to quickly recap some of the people that the Chiefs have lost. And that starts with Colin Saunders, Mike Burton, Andrew Wiley, Juju Smith-Schuster, Frank Clark. And then there's a lot of guys that they have not signed back yet. Orlando Brown Jr., Jerick McKinnon, Juan Thornhill, McCole Hardman, Nick Allegretti, Carlos Dunlap, Derek Nottie, Ronald Jones Jr., Justin Watson, Blake Bell, Deion Bush, and defensive tackle Brandon Williams. That is a long list. So there's still a lot left to do for Brett Veach.
Yeah, there's a lot of work to do here. Orlando Brown Jr., he's still not getting the money he wants on the open market. Adam Schefter's come out and said that they're wanting to pay him like a right tackle, even though he wants to be paid like a left tackle. We shall see. I don't know what's going to happen. You know what I'd like to happen? I wish everybody would just pass him up and he just comes back to Brett Veach and says, look, I'll play left tackle. How much money you want to give me? And we get this guy for what, 18, 19 million. I don't know. Maybe he just comes back crying and begging.
Even if it's $20 million, I don't think that's a bad deal. It'd be a pretty solid offensive line. You can have him on the left, Taylor on the right. And if you have to interchange them, interchange them. There's just options that way. But I don't know. I still think someone's going to pay Orlando Brown Jr. I'm kind of leaning towards the New England Patriots, the Tennessee Titans, maybe even the Bengals.
Yeah, I think out of that full list, the one that's going to hurt us the worst is probably going to be Juju Smith-Schuster if we can't find a replacement and some of the guys do not pan out like we think they will. But I do have faith in people like Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney to maybe contribute more this year, stay on the field more. I think we'll be fine in that aspect. We've got to get more defensive line help, and I'd like to see him re-sign back Jerick McKinnon. I think that's one guy we need to look at getting back this year, at least for a 1 or 2 year deal.
Yeah, re-signing Jerick McKinnon is an absolute must. There are some interesting free agents in the running back position, but nothing that looks that great. And we know that he had an awesome year last year, and he's got that chemistry with the team. So definitely want to re-sign him. Some of the guys on this list, I'm not going to go into all of them, but some of them I'm gonna list them, Mike, and you tell me if you think we re-sign them or if we move on. Number one, safety, Juan Thornhill.
We'll move on.
Wide receiver, McCole Hardman.
Moving on.
Wide receiver, Justin Watson.
I think we'll retain Justin Watson for the right price. If he don't sign for super cheap, moving on. I don't think there's a lot of interest there from other teams.
Defensive tackle, Derek Nottie.
Hey, I think we're moving on from Derek Nottie.
Defensive end, Carlos Dunlap.
I can see Carlos Dunlap going either way. If he wants to retire and go out as a champion, I fully understand that. If he wants to come back and play 1 year again, I can see Brett Veach doing that as well. He may want to go somewhere else and get a little bit more money than what he can make here as well. It's up in the air on Carlos Dunlap. We have tendered Shane Buechele today, and we did Jody Fortson a few days ago, so those guys are both secure on our roster. There are a few more free agents out there, Steve, that we need to take a look at and that we think we should have an eye on. Who do you think Brett Veach has got his eye on out there, Steve?
I don't know exactly what Brett Veach is thinking other than Odell Beckham Jr. I think that's pretty much a lock right now. Like I said earlier, I think we'll be seeing the news on that anytime now. Somebody that I would look at in free agency, we definitely need some depth at that tight end position. Blake Bell's gone. We did tender Jody Fortson, but I really like Mike Gesicki from the Miami Dolphins. We absolutely love this guy coming out of the draft back in 2018. He played with Penn State in college. He was a second-round draft pick. Obviously, he went to the Dolphins, but he's 6'6", 250, and he runs a 4.5 40. He can move. He's got good hands, and he's a great blocker as well. And considering that he's just going to be 28 this year, that could kind of be a succession plan for Travis Kelce if we don't want to look at the draft.
I like Mike Gesicki. He does have good hands. He's a lethal pass catcher. Could be a nice weapon for Mahomes to add. I want to look at the defensive line a little bit. I think we need to beef up in the middle. I like the name Poona Ford, defensive tackle. He did play with the Seattle Seahawks. He's 5'11", 310. Last year, he had a little bit of a down year. He only had 3 sacks, 5 hits, and 14 hurries. But his defensive grades by PFF, in 2018, he graded out as a 90 overall defensively. And in 2022, it was an 82 defensively overall. And he's had 100 total tackles, 10 sacks, 18 hits, and 72 hurries in his entire career. I think that's a big body in the middle, and we definitely need to look at some big bodies in the middle, especially if we lose Derek Nottie.
Yeah, and we don't know if we're signing back Brandon Williams either, so that's a good point, Mike. Some other free agents that I kind of find intriguing, even though I'm not so certain that we're looking at their position, is cornerback Rock Ya-Sin, who was most recently with the Raiders. He's just a physical corner that really excels in press man coverage, and I know that Brett Veach loves that right there, but he's not really hit his potential so far in the NFL, but his ceiling's really high, so I kind of like those kind of guys in free agency because you can get them for a decent price, and they could really pay off later. Two other guys that I want to take a quick look at is Isaiah Wynn, offensive tackle from the Patriots. I don't necessarily like the idea of signing Isaiah Wynn, but there is potential for there to be something left there. He's only 27 years old, and even though he had a bad year with the Patriots last year, there's still a lot of high-level tape on him, and he could be like a Swiss Army knife for the Chiefs' offensive line. And the last guy that I find intriguing is running back Jamal Williams, and that's just because I like the guy.
Jamal Williams is a character, man. This dude plays Pokemon, but he does run hard. I'm going to name one more guy on the defensive line. This is defensive end Yannick Ngakoue. We all know his name, 6'2", 246. Everybody keeps saying, hey, let's go look at him. Let's go look at him. This is the reason he's not been picked up yet, guys. He is a liability in the run game. He grades in the 40s almost every year in tackling and in run defense. He cannot do it. As a situational pass rusher, he's okay. In 2022, he did have 12 sacks, 9 hits, and 29 hurries. And getting after the quarterback means you get a little bit of money in free agency. That is what is king, is chasing the quarterback. So if the Chiefs was to look at him for maybe a 1-year prove-it deal, possibly a 2-year deal or a 3-year deal that they could get out of after the first or second year, depending, I think that would be a good signing that we can bring in, put him in the rotation, let him get after the quarterback in key situations. I think Ngakoue could be that guy. If he doesn't want to sign for super cheap or do a 1-year prove-it deal, they're probably going to look elsewhere.
Absolutely. Guys, make sure to get in the comments and let us know who you're eyeballing in free agency and you hope Brett Veach takes a serious look at. One signing that I absolutely love is Charles Omenihu at edge. I think that he's been ascending and he's only scratched the surface on the potential he could have here. It could potentially be an upgrade from Frank Clark. Let's see what Cole had to say about Charles Omenihu over on How About Those Chiefs. And also, Cole might have an inside source because I saw this tweet where he thinks Justin Jefferson is going to be a Chief.
That would be nasty.
Get in the comments, hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll be back on Monday with more on your Kansas City Chiefs.
Go Chiefs. Go Brett Veach.